What's up, people? Case West here. Today we are going to start season 5 of Better Call Saul. If you're looking for my reactions to the first 4 seasons, don't bother. I watched the show before I started this channel. I'm pretty excited because it's been over at least over a year since I finished season 4. I went back and watched. I didn't watch the full episode of the finale for season 4. I just kind of skimmed through it to get my head back to where we were. Jimmy is now going to be practicing law as Saul. There at the end, the last thing he said was Saul Goodman. So we're starting to see the beginning of. It's just like Breaking Bad, really. We're watching Jimmy. I don't want to be as dramatic as saying lose his humanity, but that final shot with him and Kim and it pulling away from Kim, and we see the distance between those two growing, and she's starting to recognize that she doesn't recognize Saul anymore. This show is so good at, and it's the same thing with Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is up there with possibly my favorite TV show of all time. I know I like it more than True Detective first season, but I really like the first season of True Detective. Obviously, that was only one season. I think 6 episodes, maybe 8. So Breaking Bad's, you can do a lot more with 5 seasons of a show. The only other show that comes close as far as rewatchability and not having any complaints as far as the directing, the acting, the writing, everything is on point is probably, in my opinion, Lonesome Dove, which that was a mini series that came out in the 80s. It was only 4 1.5 hour episodes each. So it's kind of hard to compare, but it's a masterpiece, no doubt about it. That kind of is a testament to how good it is, actually, that it's in my top 3. But Breaking Bad is certainly right up there. I've watched it probably 3 times all the way through. It's so good. It's so well written that nothing comes close to it. So Better Call Saul, it's funny, when I first started watching it, I think I got through. I couldn't stop, for one. It's not near as fast paced as Breaking Bad. But the writing is so good that I think midway through like season 3, I looked up and was like, I can't. It's very clear to me that I don't enjoy it as much as Breaking Bad, but it's so good I can't stop watching it, and I could not understand what was so good about it. And I know that's weird to say because if you really break it down, what's so good about it is it's fantastically written. And we are watching Jimmy break bad the same way we watched Heisenberg break bad. Well, I guess technically when he broke bad, he became Heisenberg. But you start out with Jimmy trying to get his life on the right path and get away from slipping Jimmy, and it just doesn't work for him. That's just his nature. He's good at being that, the criminal lawyer. And so we watch him, again, I don't want to say lose his humanity, but we watch him lose almost all the good things about himself. Like, he just leans into it. And man, there's just so many good characters. And by the way, I'll edit this and put, if you want to skip to the actual start of the show, I'll make sure and put that in there because this might go on for a bit. I'm trying to think what everything else that happened in the final episode. We saw Howard. Howard looks like he's doing better. When Jimmy had the library dedication to Chuck, Howard looked to be like he kind of looked like his old self again. He had his confidence back. His suit looked good. He looked like he had been getting some sleep. And I remember Jimmy kind of lit a fire under his ass when he said, "You're a terrible lawyer, but you're a hell of a salesman. Like, get out there and sell." And I'm wondering if maybe that lit a fire under his ass and got him to get his shit together. And I love Howard. I think Howard is. It's funny because I was gonna say underrated, but every character in this show is so well written that it's easy to be like, oh, Jimmy this, Kim that. But if you dive into any of the, even the minor characters, they're so well written that they're all fascinating, all of them. Nacho, I'm trying to think. I don't know if we saw him in the final, in the finale, but I can remember the last thing that I remember is he, well, obviously he's trying to get his dad out. He's trying to get out of the game. He's trying to get his dad out. He's trying to save up some money. We know that Gus now has control of him. It's funny if you go back to Breaking Bad and you watch the first episode that I believe it's the first episode that Saul's in there at all. It's probably I think it's called Better Call Saul. When they take Saul out to the desert, Jesse and Walt, and he doesn't know who they are, and they're acting like they're about to kill him. He says it wasn't me, it was Ignacio. And I'm assuming so that tells me that he and Nacho are going to team up in either this season or the final season. And if I remember correctly, he made it sound like Ignacio or Nacho ripped somebody off or stole some money from somebody. My guess is that Nacho somehow manages to make away with enough money to get he and his dad out, and he uses Saul, and they probably use the vacuum guy to disappear, the disappearer. So I wonder if that's going to come into play this season or next season. And I could be wrong about that, but that's my guess. But the question is going to be, does Nacho get out with his father or does Nacho die? And it sucks because it would be so poetic and probably more dramatic if Nacho does die to get his father out, but I don't want to see that. But even Nacho, man, like when I first started watching this show, Nacho didn't even seem like he was going to be anything important. And boom, within like at least a season, but maybe even, just a few episodes, he's one of my favorite characters, And Howard, I remember hating Howard for those first however many episodes, or maybe it was the whole first season. And then 1, 2, 3 things happen, line up, and you start looking at Howard different, and you're like, you know what? He's not a bad guy. He does things differently than I would, or maybe, I think his priorities are a little bit different. He cares so much about the firm, and the things that he values aren't completely apparent in the beginning. And also, you think that he's fucking Chuck over or excuse me, fucking Jimmy over, when in reality it was Chuck doing most of that. And Chuck's such a fascinating character. If there's anything as close to a bad guy in this show, it's Chuck, which that's a complicated relationship between those two as well. Chuck resents Jimmy because everybody loves Jimmy, but Jimmy never plays by the book. Chuck plays by the book. He's intelligent, he's successful, but everybody loves Jimmy more. Even his mom, when she died on her deathbed, she asked for Jimmy. She didn't ask for Chuck, even though Chuck was the one there with her. And so I can understand that resentment. And it's just, man, these writers with Breaking Bad and this, they do such a good job at towing that line between what's right and what's wrong. And everything is gray, that you root for everybody. And you also can hate everybody other than Kim. I don't think there's been a moment yet where I don't hate Kim, or where I do hate Kim. She's perfect. But Breaking Bad was like that way. I mean, all the shit that you see Walt do, and in the end, you still root for him. Of course, they did have to introduce the Nazis to give you the real bad guy. But Gus, Gus was the bad guy when he was first introduced, and by the end of it, you don't want to see him die. It's so, man, I can't say enough about the show, honestly. And I wish I hadn't gone so long between season 4 and season 5, but I understand the pandemic and everything. But I'm just excited to get back into it. Well, that's probably enough talking. Let's just jump into it. I remember he was in the cab, and the guy had a isotopes thing hanging from his rear view, so he was afraid he was getting caught, and the guy looked like he recognized him. I mean, that was a pretty clear cut. Okay, that's right, because he went to the hospital, so he had to get a cab back to his car. Yeah, I'd be panicking right now. That guy definitely seemed to recognize him. Where did he get those? 515. Oof. Paranoia would be not worth it. Love these shots, these montages.
Welcome to my world.
Damn it.
It is you. I thought it was you. I wasn't all the way sure, but now that I'm seeing you up close, sure. It's you. I used to see you everywhere.
Holy
You're on the billboards,
shit.
on the TV. I used to have one of your matchbooks.
You got me mixed up with someone. My name is Takovic. Gene Takovic.
What?
Hey, you know who I had in my cab once? Sammy Hagar. He's even more famous than you.
What do you want?
I just want you to admit it.
Nah, boy, got a wire on him or something. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know what you're...
Sure you do. Just say it.
He wants the reward money.
Better call Saul.
There we go. Little rusty, but you'll do better next time.
Was there a manhunt for Saul or not? I guess we don't really know. When he left, they were looking for Heisenberg, they were looking for Jesse, but we didn't see anything about them discussing the lawyer. He just got the hell out of there just in case. So maybe the heat was never even on. That guy was weird though. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have said shit to him. Oh, we haven't even got to Better Call Saul yet. It's just Breaking Bad.
Thursday. Still there?
I've changed my mind.
Change your mind.
Yeah. I'm gonna fix it myself.
What the hell does that mean? God, that's just the intro. Oh, I love this. Just being back in this universe is awesome. Oh, man.
Unless is there some angle that I'm not seeing here? If you want me to slow my roll, I can come back and do this another day.
Yes. Tell him.
If this is how you're really feeling,
It is.
I say sure.
Great. 5 minutes max.
Man, I don't know if Jimmy is just... I mean, he's so good with people, and he's so good at reading people.
Documents with your legal name.
You got it.
But sometimes I can't tell if he's just so selfish that it blocks his judgment, or if he's just bad at reading Kim. Like, that seems to be the one person that when there's problems, like right there, he knew something was up. He came out there, he talked to her. He asked her again, should I slow my roll? Should I, what do you think? And Kim, being such a freaking angel, she was like, if that's how you feel, go. But clearly there was some hesitation. Clearly that she didn't agree with it. And Jimmy just, boom, I got my answer, gone. He didn't even think there's something deeper. Like, I don't know. She sees the good in him, and I don't know. I think he just, I don't know. It sucks to see them. I mean, they're going separate ways, which is going to be exactly why we don't see her in Breaking Bad. They're gonna separate.
Ziegler. Burner.
Oh, here we go. Oh, I love these scenes.
It's nothing. It's nothing, man. A couple of scouts on fourth been complaining that this stuff is stepped on.
Okay. Show me.
Yo, Vato! Yo! Yo, Vato, where you going? Not going in there. Yo!
I love how they rolled up.
Mouse, it's okay.
These are okay. But these... this shit's not ours, man.
Yeah, you deserve it. But JMM,
Yeah.
sorry about that. I didn't know. I got it for Jimmy McGill.
Yeah, well, Jimmy loves it. And don't worry, I'm using it. If anybody says anything, I'll just say JMM is my motto.
Your motto?
Yeah.
Just make
Justice
money. Oh,
matters most.
Nice. There's also this.
just make money. Come on.
Thank you
Read her signs, dude. She's
for everything.
not happy.
Really.
Doesn't that sound like you're encouraging these people to commit crimes?
They don't need encouragement. Believe me. Kim, I can't go back to being Jimmy McGill. Jimmy McGill, the lawyer, is always going to be Chuck McGill's loser brother. I'm done with that. That name is burned. This is a fresh start. This is how I move forward. And I like it.
That's the problem.
I just can't see it.
It's okay. You will.
Yeah, that's what she's afraid of. You're losing her. She's losing Jimmy. You're losing Kim. No, she's lost Jimmy. Jimmy's gone. Swaggy boy. I like Lalo. I'm waiting for him to just snap on somebody. Like there's this undercurrent of just menace with him. He's so entertaining though. And he's smart. That's another reason why this show is so well written. Characters are smart. They figure shit
Did
out.
I keep you waiting? It's tremendous. So many trucks.
Can't not like
Are all
it.
those buildings really full of chickens?
Please sit. I must apologize.
Well, he's not gonna
Sincerely.
buy that. He knows you're not stupid enough to let that happen. He'll buy it. He doesn't buy it.
Como lo que pasó en Santiago, eso también era negocio.
Necesito saber que todo esto ya es caso
Santiago.
cerrado.
Here you go, buddy.
Next.
Holy shit.
Welcome. Take a load off. Before we talk phones, let's talk you.
Kai, you're traveling solo in the red Pontiac. You're flying out of Dallas. It is a long drive.
He was a good man, but in truth, he was soft.
Damn.
Yeah?
He was worth 50 of you.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to tussle with that guy.
You keep your goddamn retainer.
Trouble in Paradise. It's interesting to see them have issues. Because they're so... Mike is so on board in Breaking Bad.
Would you care to comment on the Carl Gravenhorst case?
Well,
As you know, the DA's office has been accused of
I know who
misconduct
that
in the
is.
Gravenhorst case. Would you comment on the latest development?
the Graven what?
People are saying you're prosecuting an innocent man.
Yeah, I just don't know.
5 months. With overcrowding, you probably do less than 2.
But I might not.
Ah, so frustrating. Slap the
You don't
shit
wanna
out of
take that
him.
risk.
Maybe I do.
Lois, whatever Bobby says, he's not taking the deal.
Who, that guy?
Jimmy's about to...
Isn't he the punk who tried to sell a flat bed of hot mini fridges to an undercover cop? What'd you get him?
5 months.
5 months? With his priors? Well, he should be on his knees thanking you.
I'm trying to talk him out of going to trial.
We'll have that punk on his knees begging for the 5 months.
I don't think so.
Yeah, come on, Kim.
No,
We can do this.
no.
Lead pipe cinch.
He's the client. It's his decision.
Yep.
What good is it going to do with that dweeb away in Las Lunas, huh? You think he's a jackass now? Wait till he gets back from that clown college.
I'm not scamming my
But it
clients.
worked for Mesa Verde.
Jimmy, back off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll see you at home.
Oof. I want to knock the shit out of that guy. Take that fucking
So, who's that?
smug look off your face.
Is everything all right?
He's from the district attorney's office.
Oh, Kim.
They're taking the deal off the table.
So what? I mean, we weren't gonna take it anyway, so.
Miss Wexler, please.
God, I love this show. It's so...
Wait here.
You're so torn.
I can't promise anything.
Because it worked. She
I'll
didn't
look
want to
into
do it.
Sure. You can do that.
But she
We'll
also...
be right here.
Maybe not in this case, but she does love it. She loves that game. That's what her and... She's... I really think Kim is having trouble controlling herself. Like, Jimmy's bad for her because she does enjoy that rush, but she knows it can't continue. And she gotta leave him. It's that fine line of her, you know, in previous episodes we had seen that, you know, after her and Jimmy would pull something off like that, she would be extremely turned on and they would make out or whatever. So there's that danger line, right, that she's towing, and I'm obviously it's exhilarating, but she understands that is not a long term. You can't do that for long. I had a theory, probably like, I can't remember what season it was, but because it was always Wise, Kim, Nadia, and Breaking Bad. And as we started to see their relationship develop, my theory was that she is going to eventually realize that she can't be around Jimmy because he's going to pull her into that world, and she does care for him. And I'm wondering if her best option is to just disappear You know, I don't know. Just she's got to figure out how to get away from him, maybe without him knowing, just to remove him from her life. And obviously, she didn't want to do that, but that's what it's gonna take. It's almost like she's having to. It's like being addicted to a drug, and you got to figure out how to get off of it. And sometimes the best way to do that is just set things in motion that you can't undo, that force you, out of force you to remove yourself from the situation. God, I love this show. It's so good to be back. All right, so that was Better Call Saul, Magic Man. Well, I guess I'll try to start from the beginning. So the I guess you'd call it the flash forward we saw. Jimmy Saul was definitely made. Definitely. Like that guy knows who he is. And apparently the guy either wasn't aware that there was a manhunt for him or didn't care, was just more concerned with he was a celebrity, I guess. I don't know. Don't know how he tracked him down. But we saw Saul talking to the vacuum repairman, the disappearer. But he said, I'm gonna handle it myself. I don't know what that means. That makes me think Saul's going to disappear himself. And those diamonds, I don't guess, I'm sure that's going to come into play. I was talking about he and Nacho in the first time we see Saul in Breaking Bad. He says, it wasn't me, it wasn't Ignacio when they're threatening to kill him. And I got a feeling that he and Nacho are going to hatch some kind of plan, probably is what's going to involve those diamonds. So I guess that's his rainy day fund. Lalo, good seeing. I mean, Lalo's not buying any of that shit. He knows Gus is up to something. He's smart, and Gus understands. Gus is smart too. He can't risk anything. But Gus has got to figure out how to get rid of Lalo. And I don't think that's going to be easy. Man. What the hardest part of this whole show is going to be watching Kim and Saul separate like that. I think Kim is starting to understand that Saul's not good for her. And I don't know if you would say that that's necessarily Saul's fault. Saul is just Saul, or Jimmy is just Jimmy. He's just leaning into it now, and he's doing what is going to make him most successful. And Kim, that's, obviously what she loves about him, but she's starting to realize that it's jeopardizing her job, obviously her mental health. And I think that's what her and Chuck had in common. I think she really does respect the law. I don't know though. It's like she's a mix between Chuck and Jimmy. She's right there in between them. She sees it from both angles. But what's not helping is that she's seeing Jimmy. I mean, he's just gotten so cold. Now, don't get me wrong. Those other characters aren't privy to some of the conversations we've seen with Saul and Chuck. I mean, Chuck, I think the last thing he said to Jimmy was, "You never really mattered that much to me." Yeah, he wrote a nice letter, but Jimmy knows the truth. Jimmy knows what their true relationship was like. And I don't know, it's kind of frustrating too, because it's one of those things where, like, Jimmy, if you just told Kim what he said to you, she might understand a little more. But man, it's just, honestly, it's just good to be back in this universe. It's been so long. It's such a good show. It's such a different tone, not tone, but a different pace than Breaking Bad. What I'm wondering if I have forgotten something. When Nacho said they were talking, Nacho and Varga, I think, were talking about Gus, and Vargas said Gus is all about business, insinuating that in his opinion, Gus doesn't let his emotions get the best of him, which is so good because Gus, I mean, that's what gets Gus killed is his emotion, his one blind spot, his one weakness. But Lalo, I think, knows better. And then Lalo said, then what was Santiago? Which I think that's a reference that we're not supposed to know at this point. But if there is something that I've forgotten, let me know in the comments. Or maybe it's, no, I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to know what that is in reference to. But I could be wrong. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for me. Y'all be looking out for the second episode coming soon. All right. We'll see you around.